Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to another Tuesday in depth conversation on the Grounded Bag podcast. Here, we all have baggage. Some baggages looks different. So, we're here to unpack those stones, unpack those soul ties, probably, or stressors or struggles that we all experience on this journey called life. And let's unpack it, let's heal from it, and let's move a little bit lighter. And I also just want everyone to just be aware of that we are dropping podcast episodes every Tuesday. That is the goal. And today I have a very special guest. Last Tuesday, I told you all that I was going to have a more in depth conversation on the process of buying a home, especially in 2026, but most importantly, the overall financial hurdles, roadblocks, and I'll just be transparent. Buying a home in the United States while Black, it is a reality. There are different forms of hurdles that, as well as different forms of education that we should equip ourselves with, but most importantly, support that is absent and that is needed, especially for young individuals who are wanting to buy their first home or try to make investments and they're trying to find that direction. So that's the purpose of what today's discussion is going to be about. Just sharing you all and providing a little wisdom about the home ownership from women who have done it and who have learned some hard lessons from the overall process. And today's guest, she is not only a triple threat in many things, but she also has her doctorate in urban ministry. She also has her master's in homiletics. And most importantly, she also has and holds different degrees in marketplace chaplaincy as well. And most importantly, she is also a retired nurse. So for individuals who are either healthcare workers, caregivers, she has experienced what it's like to caregive and also be an advocate for those who need advocating. And that's something that we are seeing a lot of in our world is advocacy and the lack thereof in support for caregivers who are advocating for those they are caring for. So those are also more in-depth conversations that we will be having on later episodes. But I'm going to let our guest of honor tell you a little bit more about herself. But she is styled as Dr. Makita Ensa, and she is also Queen Makita to me, and she's also my mother. So
Lucky.
I I almost said mom, but Dr. Ansa, tell us about yourself before we get into our incoming call.
Well, first of all, thank you, Miss Ansa, Aisha, for inviting me to the Grounded Bag podcast. I just want to say how proud I am of you for starting this initiative, and how proud I am of you for your own individual journey as a young woman and also a student, now a grad student at Howard University. Go Bison! It's you. You
You
know.
know, I'm done.
Yes, so yeah, you just listed some of my degrees, and I'm very proud of those accomplishments, but the greatest accomplishment is being a woman of God and a mother and a teacher. So I'm very happy to be here to share my wisdom with with your followers or just anyone who's willing to learn what it really is like to do this life and do it the right way. And the first thing I want to say is life isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And that's every day that we wake up, we give thanks and we, make an honest effort to move forward in faith. But we must have a vision and we need the knowledge to go along with that vision. So thank you for having me today and I look forward to our journey.
Yes. Well, that's just amazing. And before we get into it, I just want to make sure that um we set our intention. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have not already planted roots with us, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, like, share, and comment so that way your roots can be planted and in soil that is divine. But most importantly speaking, if you're not ready for that commitment, you can still come sit on the soil that we have poured into and still gain nourishment from it. And I hope that you're able to plant roots eventually. And where can our viewers find you, Dr. Makita?
Well, I'm currently um relaunching, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in grad school for so long and doing life, so I've just relaunched my website, drmakita.com, where you'll have a host of resources and wealth of knowledge and wisdom coming from me
Mm-hmm.
from now on. So, and also, I am on YouTube as Queen Makita Official. And also, I am on Instagram. I think it's Queen Makita Official as well. I'm also on LinkedIn, Dr. Makita Ansah. But mainly, on my website is where you'll find all of the things that I'm up to, what I'm doing, what I care about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also getting into I will be launching a nonprofit, which is really my life's work. It will encompass my life's work, the mission that God is planning on my heart, right? Which is to hold institutions accountable, right? And to reform administration. And mainly because institutions affect families in ways that we can, I don't think we understand how institutions affect our daily lives. And my focus is on institutions, particularly family courts and those agencies that, let's say, a post divorce woman would have to encounter, right? And when these laws and decrees are not enforced, the family suffers. So I really want to put a lot of emphasis on holding these institutions accountable. And doing that would encompass me going to them, make spreading awareness on social media, through my teaching videos. But also, I want to see this become something really like I want to start a movement. I want to go cross country, because there's a lot going on that people really, I don't think they really understand the half of it. And the main focus is holding people accountable. Our judges, our court officers, even social workers, nurses, like I was, because not everyone is really in it for the right reason.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, mainly for a paycheck, right? For the title, but not really to help people. So my life's work is really that of I would say more servant leadership, and I will be seeking support, but also involvement of the community, parents, young people of all ages. Professional teachers. We all know teachers are underpaid, nurses are underpaid, professionals are underpaid, and even social workers are overworked. They have so many cases, and for one person. So, all professionals, all people in the workforce, um, members of the clergy, who tend to be silent on issues because of separation of church and state, and I respect that. But there are people too. Pastors get divorced, and remarried, and their wives, their first wives, sometimes they don't do so good. Why is that? So I won't say too much more, but let's just say I'm going to be very busy. Mm-hmm.
Listen, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, and for the people in the back, that in itself is a whole nother discussion, but it's also an important one. So, and you're going to see Dr. Makita on more of our episodes because this is an important conversation, and now more than ever, it's important not to for us to be tone deaf and silent about it because we're seeing a lot of individuals who feel as though there's no hope, right? Who feel
Mm-hmm.
as though it's not even attainable to buy a home or have the life that they advertise on TV or have the life that we work I want to say
Right.
conditioned to think that it's attainable, but in hindsight when we don't get it, we feel as if we're
Mm-hmm.
failures, but there's no direction of a pivot. Like, okay, let's try to do something else, but that's still focused on the goal. So more
Right.
to come with Dr. Makita.
Yes.
So, as we dive into today's discussion, let's talk about buying a house in
Mm.
2026.
Wow.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. Let's dive into it. So, the first topic that has been a topic that a lot of individuals of all age groups have asked is, what was the process like when you bought your first home? And I would say I would direct this more to you, Dr. Makita. Like, what was your process like when you bought your first home? And I just want everyone to keep this in mind. Buying a first home, it doesn't mean that you're just buying it like in this modern day, because as we all, for some of us who have lived on this earth for many more years, the processes have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Presidents have probably changed. Easier pathways have been or was it ever easy? But pathways have changed. So I want to give you the floor on that, Dr. Makita. Educate us on
Well,
what you've observed.
I would start by saying that it's a common adage, right? That goes like the players change, but the game stays the same. Okay,
Come
and
on.
I'm a woman of a particular age. Ladies don't tell their age, so you'll have to guess. But I've helped to build a house from scratch. I purchased land before and gone through the homeownership process in 2021 in the modern era. So, and in the totality of it all, over those years, I would say the thing that was constant was again the system,
Mm,
right? The powers that be, the mortgage companies, and getting permits, getting the different processes, right? During the home ownership process, the banks, right? The credit companies, all three credit bureaus, you have to deal with that. You have to prepare yourself financially. Because in
mhm.
America, you have to, I mean, unless you win the lottery or you marry someone wealthy or you get an inheritance, you have to get a mortgage, sadly.
Yeah.
And we know that there isn't enough houses per person, I would say. There's a shortage of homes and also quality of homes.
Mhm.
So you're gonna have to compromise. I remember this a former coworker of mine in nursing many years ago. She and her husband, they had good income, and they saved up and they build their house from they saved money. So they were patient. So the homeownership process, you're gonna need to be patient. You're gonna need to have knowledge. You're gonna need to acquaint yourself with the entire housing industry, the laws, your rights as a buyer, right? And of course, there's comparables. You have other houses, and let's say you go into a subdivision. Into the MLS system, they create for you a comparable. So they're going
Mhm.
to base what the house next to you looks like and appraises for to kind of know where you fit, which I think that's unfair
It is.
because unless you live in a house that's run by HOA and everyone is on the up and up, You can take care of your home, or you may look to buy a house that looks beautiful, but there's one right next to it.
Come on.
It's total. You wonder if these people are
It needs to be condemned.
yes.
Okay.
So there's so many variables, but the main thing I would say you have to start. You have to ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want in life? Some people may not even want to own. They may want to rent, they may want to travel, and put down roots later. But if you want to purchase a house, you're gonna have to ask yourself, what do you want? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to purchase a home? And how you're gonna get there. The getting there can take years, depending on how you want to look on the other side. If you want to get in quickly, you maybe pay more. If you want to take your time, you may save money along the way. So I would say don't be anxious. God's word tells us to be anxious for nothing. Hold on to that one. Because it's not the end all be all. If you're not a homeowner in this life, it doesn't make you less of a human, right? It sounds great, but you also have responsibilities as a homeowner. And usually there's a class that you take
Mm-hmm.
to prepare you. It tells you about the home buying process. You get a realtor, the mortgage company, the people involved, appraisers, builders, the tax assessors, and some people use people who renovate homes. A lot of people have been flipping houses, so there are people who are skilled in renovating or modernizing a home. I'm sure you guys heard of Chip and Joanna, and then I with Magnolia Network, but and you turn on HGTV. There's a lot of information on HGTV, but that's TV magic.
Yes.
That's
Married to
TV
real estate
magic.
is also good too.
Married to real estate. We're still not on anymore. That's a bummer.
They're
But
not.
no, they were canceled, but they do. I think they're on YouTube now.
I must have
But
been asleep when. Oh, well, okay.
yeah, but I would say you have the home ownership course, which is I would recommend that you take that. It is free. And depending on
Mm-hmm.
your lender, they offer it to you, and in some cases, you have to take it. In order to get down payment assistance, you have to take it. Because, yeah, you have to know, yes, and then I thing, a down payment. See, so unless and guys, grants and down payment assistance are not as, widely accessible as they used to.
It's not.
Especially now in this climate. A lot of grants and stuff are being taken away, and especially for minorities, right? So don't be bummed. A lot of people are staying still at home, or there are also alternatives to rent and to some of the tiny homes. You can start small before you go big.
There's van life. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
individuals who
I'm not
are.
a fan of van life
You're not.
for many reasons. I mean, no, because of the current um climate, global warming, that it's cold and it's hot and tornadoes and all of that. A van is not steady. It's on wheels.
Mm-hmm.
It can be flipped.
Yeah.
It's not safe. Someone could come and knock on the door, hit the glass out. Boom, you're right there.
Yeah.
Versus even a tiny home, you can attach security to it and make it more safe. Nowhere is safe, but some places are really. A van life is, and then you're just driving around and you get tired and you're all on top of each other, and
Yeah.
where do you shower, and personally it's not for me. It may be for someone else, but I, as a young person, or I just wouldn't recommend that. I mean, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You see people on YouTube doing it, but they don't tell you everything. It's a lot. I mean, kudos to them, but that's not for me, and I don't. I would recommend it to a young person because if they do it, I would think it's mainly for just on a YouTube channel because it's a trend.
Yeah.
We have seen and heard of stories with that did not go so well.
It didn't. It
Especially,
didn't.
I mean, especially who you're doing it with.
Yeah, because because if you think that you're getting out of that apartment or that rental or living out of your mom's basement is already
Mm-hmm.
causing conflict, imagine being in a van confined and
Mm-hmm.
without a plan or direction. Because some individuals
Yes.
they do it with the intention of saving and know
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing it for, or some people do it for freedom so that way
Mm-hmm.
they're able to travel and go out of the country without having to worry about a house and a mortgage and their house need to be house sat or whatever. So
Yes.
intentionality is important because that's why I'm so grateful that you mentioned the home ownership courses because that's a course that
Mm-hmm.
I took, and what I would
Yes.
say is that it and I took that maybe when I was like maybe 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
23. I was young. So I
Yeah.
took that. It helped me to really understand that, oh, buying a home, the glamour of it all. Oh no,
Mm.
it's some serious stuff. Because especially when it comes to wanting to like for down payment assistance, or when it comes to the taxes are changing, that may increase your mortgage. Or let's
Yeah.
not get started on the insurance companies when
Mm.
they add stuff. Because I'm like, boating insurance. I don't need there's no where's the water? This is not Miami. So
Yeah.
when it comes to those certain things that we're not taught, even because it doesn't matter what age you are, some individuals are not taught
Mm-hmm.
about the homeownership process and they learn
Mm-hmm.
from trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
So that does segue me to our next question is what do you wish you knew before buying your home? It could be property, or it could be home ownership, or it could be, but
Hmm.
particularly a home. What do you think that you wish you knew?
I think I know what you're asking. You're asking me the practicality of it, you know? But I think overall what I wish that I had clarity on was where I wanted to be in life.
Mm,
Where I wanted to be. Is this a place I want to be the next 10, 15, 20 years? Because when you put so much into a home, not just the cost to purchase it, down payment, but also the upkeep of it, depending on the type
mm.
of home you buy. If you purchase an older home, you're gonna have to put work into it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so all the energy, the time, the money, and the things that if we have to, because we had to, replace our roof, we had to do so many things that were not done.
A deck,
The deck, you name it. So
HVAC.
I would think if the travesty is if you put all of that into a home, I feel that you
Hmm.
should be in that home at least 10, 15 years, maybe
It is the
20.
hope. It is the hope.
Maybe 20, but the times are changing and also the prices are going up.
Hmm.
And you know what, too? What we encountered was there's not enough skilled laborers about. That's depending on where you are.
Yeah.
But I believe the rise of these internet careers, like on the social media, okay, everybody's on YouTube, like we are right now. But there's not enough skilled young people that's taking over for like my generation.
Like
I'm Gen I'm Gen
contractors.
X, so.
Hmm.
I remember when I went to school, the school I went, high school I went to, you had your carpentry students, plumbing, electrical, farming. Yeah, that's sustainability. You know, the HVAC people, so nursing. So I think that now everything is all of these you know, the billionaires and the CEOs, they're pushing tech, 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 tech. But the thing is, when tech doesn't work, we have to revert to the manual things that we do with your hands, right? Things you can fix and grow and create with your hands. We're the skilled laborers now. I remember when we first purchased the home, one of the young men was trying to get a refrigerator in the door. He said, there's
Hmm.
not enough young guys in this field anymore. There's not. And another gentleman that helped repair a cabinet, he was older. Like there's not enough people, young people on YouTube or maybe an instant star and on TikTok, and it's interesting because when you even if you make all this money, you want to purchase a home. Who's going to build it? Who's going to repair it? So if you're thinking of buying a home, you have to ask yourself, how long do I want to stay in this house? Because come on, you're going to renovate this home and you're not going to enjoy it unless you're flipping it, and you would hope that you get what you put into it and then some. And when this again the systems, right? When the government steps in, you probably won't get as much as you would like because taxes go up, and the mortgage come, and of course you have to pay off the loan, and then the realtor gets their commission, and everybody gets something.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to just relieve with practically almost maybe just a little bit what you came in with. So you have to ask yourself, where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself planting roots? In a
Yep.
hot climate in Arizona, in Florida, and you have to choose wisely and make sure you get a surveyor or you know someone to really assess the land, and that you're not buying a swamp. Make sure the land you can actually
Mm-hmm.
dig in. The house will disappear. So it's so
Listen,
much to think about. It's so much. Location is everything. Location is everything.
you have to have a vision.
How accessible is it to your grocery, the hospital,
Schools.
schools, everything? You have to think hard about where you want to live and how long. Are you going to start a family? And you can't just you can uproot your family right away. And these things cause marital issues. You know?
Mm-hmm. And that is so true because many individuals, it's almost like I go back to when we did our home buying process where it's almost like when you agree to the offer and sometimes the sellers don't want to cover closing, so you have to cover that.
Yes.
And the reaction was like, "Oh my God, we said yes." And then
Yeah.
and then reality set in like we said yes, we said yes.
No.
Oh my God. The reality actually set in because the saddest thing is that even if someone is selling their home as is, the
Mm-hmm.
integrity factor would be the main necessities out of
Yeah.
safety, at least making sure that this is fixed. And I
Yeah.
think that also falls back to integrity. And that
Mm-hmm.
also falls back to where we are right now in our world, where
Mm-hmm.
the overall moral compass of a lot of individuals are backward instead of forwards. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's also important to really ask yourself this question. If this home is as is, or if this home is going to have a lot of things that needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
But the saddest thing is that when we purchased our home, it was during COVID. So it's one thing to say, oh, let me shake them down in price. But it
Mm-hmm.
was a bidding war. I remember when we were
Yes.
looking
Yes.
at one
It was
home.
definitely a seller's
The
market.
bedroom was in the attic, and I'm like, "Are you serious? This is not a four-bedroom." But it was a bidding war on that, and the house was smaller. And I'm like, "Wow, a bidding war for this." And then one of the homes, it had
Mm-hmm.
a bathroom stall in the main bedroom, and there's a lot of home ownership or home like house hunting horror stories.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was a horror story with the bathroom stall in the bedroom. And anytime you
Yes.
have got to listen to your realtors. If they say the plot keeps thickening, and if they also say if someone passed, ask more questions. Because in some states,
Yeah.
legally, they can tell you, or in some states,
Right.
legally, they can withhold that, but do your own research. Because I had a dream or something woke me. I did my own research and I'm like, oh snap. So we had to back out of that one quickly. I'm not saying that people don't die in homes, but if it's that recent and you're not forthcoming about it, that's no. Like that's just not the
Yeah.
move.
Yeah, and let me tell you, the whole real estate market has gotten so unethical, and that's the thing, and that's why a lot of people are doing tiny houses or doing modular homes. Like I saw, like there's, I think was it in Georgia? Yeah, like this person that they basically buying up different lots and putting down modular homes on them is creating like a whole community. So a lot of people are going that route. And hey, if it's not Arkansas, one of those places where we have a lot of tornadoes, they're building them stronger now. But I don't think that they hold up well during the cold or.
No.
And if it's
Mm-mm.
hot, it gets really hot. And to me, whatever system that is like the HVAC system is gonna work harder to keep you warm. And what if it goes out? That cold is gonna seep in, right? So it's a lot of decisions you have
Mhm.
to make. A lot.
Yes,
A lot of
it's
people
a
do
lot.
townhomes. You have your tenants in common. You have common areas, or you're
Mhm.
close. But I just think we have to be more mindful, and you said have a vision
Have
of
got to
where
have a
you wanna
vision.
of where you wanna be. You know, and that's in America for you. Other countries have their own woes, but in America the costs just keep going up. So
It's real.
there's not many as incentives for homeowners like they say. It's not
There is
really the
not.
American dream. It could be an American nightmare.
Tax credits, lies.
Yeah.
Listen, we've lived in our home for how long? I think 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Tax credits? No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. But
Yeah.
before we continue the conversation, to the next question, home warranties. That's a question. How important is a home warranty when you're
Mm.
buying a home or when you have a home?
Well, I would say, if you're a new build,
Mm-hmm.
I would say you don't need a home warranty because a lot of the builders they offer warranty on the construction, whether it's the roof, HVAC system,
Mm-hmm.
appliances, all of that. Now, if you're if you purchase an older home and you don't have cash available, which in the homeowners course they tell you you should have cash saved. You should start a savings, especially if your HVAC goes out, that your
Mm-hmm.
heater, replace appliances. You should have money. You have to become a disciplined person when you become a homeowner. You can't just be spending money left and right and think it's, because things go wrong. Things they get
It does.
older.
Mm-hmm.
Home warranty in our experience, the companies were, what we experienced was there wasn't enough of the servicers, like for example, a plumber,
Mm-hmm.
and they say that they cover a lot of things, but when something happens, there's a gray area there.
Mm-hmm.
They start to tell you, oh, well, this isn't covered because of this and that. And then, well, not to mention getting someone to come out on time. I remember something happened. I forgot what it was, but they said they were coming at this time.
I
They,
think it was a toilet.
yeah, they never came.
They never came.
So it's a reliability factor. And there's some that boast that they're the best at this, number one, and these people buy ads and they get ranked high on Google. And you think so that's why you have to read reviews. I would say read reviews for everything and everyone. Read reviews on your realtors, right? Real estate companies, mortgage companies, home builders, technician, wherever, whatever. Read reviews. Now, some reviews are not as effective, I would say, because that person didn't do due diligence. They dropped the ball or they were passive or whatever. But when the same thing review keeps coming up, that's a red flag. So reviews are even if they say a hotel, everything. Read reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So home warranty company, if you don't have to, don't get it. But If you live in an older home, oh, and also the electric company, ours AEP, they have a company called HomeServe. They have warranty on your HVAC, your plumbing, electrical, heater, and what they do is they bill you. It's like under $10
Mm-hmm.
for each for separate services, and they it's added to your electricity bill, so you don't really feel it per se. So I would recommend that. Because we did get a new heater from through HomeServe. And the HVAC, that's another story. Yeah.
Child, that
Yeah. So yeah.
that's a part of what I wish I knew, and what in my case, in our
Mhm.
case, I wish that I remembered,
Mhm.
because when you don't remember all what your home warranties can
Yes.
cover, you end up
Yes.
paying more, having to pay
Yes.
monthly with a credit company, and then you end
Yeah.
up pouring more into that versus
Yeah.
other things that you could have probably saved
Yeah,
towards.
but I just think if I was younger, I would not purchase an older home.
Don't do it.
I would not
Don't,
do it. I would do,
unless you have a
yeah.
community and friends who can help build your walls and do it.
Yeah,
If
if
you
you
have a
know
community,
someone, yeah. And sometimes, even if you know someone,
are they
sometimes,
reliable?
yeah, and you don't want to ruin a friendship. So
Yeah.
I would do like a lot. If you have good credit, if you have a good job, and when I say good paying job, because mortgage companies take at least, I think it what, 30% of your income, right?
Mm-hmm.
They allocate it for your mortgage for payment. Of course, you have taxes and insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But I would recommend going with a builder. Florida is perfect for that because they have a lot of builders there. Texas too. Georgia maybe. Not so much some of the northeastern states where they have a lot of older homes.
Yeah.
But Florida, from my memory, Florida had a lot of builders, and they have incentives. Right? You get
Mm.
they would put in, they'll give you new appliances. They pay for closing. So look for builders or even sellers who would mind paying the closing. Try
Mm-hmm.
to save as much money and don't be afraid to ask. Closed mouth don't get fed. You have not because you ask not. So
Mm-hmm.
ask, ask, ask. As if you're Gen Z or even younger millennial just starting out in these times, prayerfully your credit is good. You have longevity on your job, or you're earning.
Mm-hmm.
You get 1099. As long as you can document it and you pay your taxes, go with a builder. Build the home that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have to settle for someone else's idea or a lived-in home, and you don't know what's been in there or who's
Or
been
who
in there.
died in there?
Yeah, or what? Because a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stories about
Because
old
say
homes.
sage can't cure everything. Like, just walk away from it and just
Yeah, yeah.
because,
And
yeah.
so, but I would say you really have to be a person of faith and discernment in this
Yes.
life,
Yes.
and not
Yes.
and not be anxious and not, you know, at the risk of being an idolatrous person and just thinking that your self-worth is tied to a home, a material
Mm-hmm.
object. Stay
Or a
away from that.
status. Or a
Yeah, so
status.
mindset is your state of mind is everything. I just said that first. Like maybe I did or did not. But your state of mind is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And where you want to go. But your home warranties, I would say only if it's an older home and you have to redo your research on the company. But
Mm.
but I would recommend a new build with a builder. Get those incentives. Get those incentives
Yes.
and try to get closing costs. Now also, if you live in that county and you get a USDA loan and they pay 100%. So there's no down payment. But what's really crippling a lot of young people is the student loan.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes.
banks are counting it, even a percentage of it, and a lot of time that gets you disqualified. So if you don't have student loans, good for you. If you're small, a lot not. If you're just starting out, that's when you get the house. Don't wait until you're in your graduate degree when you crack 100K. They will count it, and that's why a lot of young people don't qualify for mortgages. So if you're on YouTube and you're making money, save that money. Have a goal, have money set aside. Don't just Uber and DoorDash and don't cook. Cook some things. Cook your food. Get a budget. Find that finances is everything. This conversation right here is what's going to anchor you is how good are you with your finances? That is the key here.
Mm-hmm.
How good are you? How you control what's coming in and what's going out? Yeah. And how
Yeah.
much debt, the debt in America, we know about the inflation is tearing everybody apart. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are really struggling. It's hard. Yeah. I
Yeah.
could go on about that, but we don't have all.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to tackle financial literacy and the emotional side of making financial mistakes on Oh, trust me. That's going to be
Yeah.
its own discussion.
Yeah.
But another question that came up is how has the housing market changed from your time, let's say if it's in the 80s or 90s to now? How
Yeah.
would you say
I
it
would
has
say
changed?
I would say the 90s and 80s I was still a child. I'm not that old. Think.
Okay, got me right. I'm
Yeah.
done.
But I would say it has changed considerably. Remember now that we have tariffs now on lumber.
Mhm.
So in my days, tariffs was not something that was thrown around, right? They existed, but it wasn't thrown around. And the earth was just, it depends on where you live. Things just look prettier.
Mhm.
Florida was nicer. We're from the islands, so everything was prettier. But I mean, the system was still the system,
Yeah.
and there was still never enough.
But you could have still lived with it to some
Yeah,
extent.
you could have lived with it. You could have, but if you had good credit, if you from sort of that's why it's important for young people not to get infatuated with credit cards and taking things on credit and buying expensive clothes. Because when you need that money for a down payment and it's not there, you're disqualified. Because
Mm.
there's FHA loans, and there were a lot of grants back then. There were a lot of houses being built, and you can just apply and you get a house built and you live, they kind of look like similar houses.
Mhm.
So, so things haven't changed that much, I would say, in far as the system go.
Okay.
Now, I would say there's just there's a scarcity in help, if in homeownership, I would say, and the people are different. There's more. There's we live in a hustle culture, so people are more aggressive and not really don't really care about the people they serve.
Mhm.
It's about getting that commission. I remember we met this guy, this young guy, and he was all over social media telling people's business, like why his clients didn't qualify for the mortgage and blah blah blah. And I mean, I'm like, wait a minute, why are you doing this? I don't even care. I don't care if they told you you could do it. That's just not cool, you
It's
know?
off-putting,
Yeah, I mean, if you had them with you on like a video, you were interviewing them, fine.
and they're giving their testimony.
But just to tell people what this person could, oh, but it's how he was doing it too.
It was
But
to be messy.
yeah, so you have to be aware of realtors and people who can claim to be professionals.
Check their social media.
Yeah, yeah, social media would tell you everything about this person.
Yeah, because if you magic Mike in it or like if you doing certain things, because you also have to keep this in mind. That same realtor, if they're good, you may want to use them to sell your home when that time comes. And you want to make sure
Yeah,
because the realtor literally represents the seller. So if your realtor is not
yeah,
putting it down
yeah,
and
and the buyer.
and the
Mm-hmm.
buyer, and if they're not representing,
Mm-hmm.
then it can literally turn people away from you wanting to step foot in your home.
Yeah, so I think that people That's why realtors were came about to
Mhm.
protect the public, right? But I seldom see that anymore. It's all about getting the money, and there's no care. You don't get to know the people, their why, where they want to go. Are you helping them to navigate the process? Are you able to put them in a transitional home until they get their house sold, right? I mean, realtors should go the extra mile. You need to earn that commission, right? And a lot of them charge a hefty commission. Well, you have to earn it. I'm not gonna sign a dotted line and pay you. And one more thing. When you get to the table with your realtor, tell them what you want. Again, remember I said
Mhm.
you have to know what you want. Put it out there. Okay, I'm moving and I'm selling my house. So I will need a transitional place to stay until the house is sold. Because I believe that the house should be vacant
Mhm.
so people could see all the nooks and crannies. And you're not in there most of all. People coming in, popping up on you. You may be taking a shower, and of course, it'll be by appointment. But you never know. You may have to take a dash and use the restroom, and oopsie, ding a ling ling, the doorbell rings, and you have to, I just
Yeah.
think the house should be empty, and you clean it, you paint it, and prepare it for sale the best. Or if you're selling it as is, you do the best you can and get out of there, and let people walk around on their time. And
Mhm.
that's gonna get the household faster than you're in it. And if you have dogs like we do, and could you imagine?
Could you imagine? And God forbid, if you are grown
Mm-hmm.
and they open your dresser drawer
Yeah.
and they don't know that that drawer has special stuff in there, because
Yeah.
a lot of buyers, they open drawers,
Yeah. I
they
don't
want to
like
make
that.
sure that
Yeah.
the vanity drawer in the bathroom works, and then, oh, okay, I was not aware of that, because there's some individuals, they base a lot of their buying determinations based on how someone kept their home, or if they were religious.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
very particular, because for some individuals who are either like very strict in their religion, if they see a whole bunch of Jack Daniels bottles and a whole bunch of stuff, they're like, "Oh, we'll pass on this." It's a real reality. It's important to
Yes.
know
Yes.
how
I
people.
like I
Yeah.
like a blank canvas because someone is
Mhm.
breathing on your stuff, right? Someone is breathing on your stuff. People are coming into your home, and sometimes they don't even use those booties for your shoe, right? The shoe coverings, and they're coming in your home, walking on your rug or your bathroom, your bedroom. I just that no. I would recommend if you're gonna sell your home, move out. Let your realtor know you need to transition a home. They should know of any rentals or anything that they can put you in while your home is sold. It's being sold. And because you know why? You want as much showing as possible. You want the house sold. So you don't want it to be any hindrance with showing.
Mhm.
And any yeah, and like you said, your stuff is all over there, and that could persuade a person not to buy your house. So yeah, there's so many things to consider. So I think when you decide you want to sell or buy, you have to meet with your
Mhm.
realtor and
Yeah.
have a lengthy, transparent, and honest conversation. Don't be afraid to tell people what you need, what you want, and have a vision in mind, and it will happen for you.
Yep. Absolutely, absolutely. And that also brings us to another important question. Then after, we have two more important topics, questions that are based off of buying a home. Like in terms of home ownership, like what would you say, was home ownership ever something that felt out of reach to you? And if so, why?
It was never out of reach. Again, for me, it was always a circumstance. Was I married? Was I single? Do I
Mm-hmm.
have children? What are my responsibilities? Can I afford it? It was never out of reach because, like we said, key word, you have to have a vision.
Mhm.
You have to know what you want. So if you want this thing, you have to, set boundaries. You have to clear things out of your way. I've had to not continue with buying process because I was married, because
Mhm.
when you purchase a home or land or whatever and you're married, depending on the law of that state or territory, your spouse has 50% rights to it, depending on when it was purchased also. So there's so many things to consider. Are you in the right relationship? Are you in the right place in your life? Do you want to finish school first?
That's real.
The home ownership, long and short, is a very strenuous process. Okay? Because you have to houses come on the market, they go off like that. There are bidding wars. You have to drive up and down depending on the cold or the hot. And you never know what you're gonna meet.
Getting a yeah.
Some neighborhoods are safe, some unsafe.
Yeah, and getting a pre-approval is important so that way you know
Yes, very good
how
point.
much you can spend
Yes,
because I'm not looking at a $350,000 house and I'm only approved for 250
right.
unless
You
I
know,
have the difference to make up.
sometimes on AGTV, you see people they have like a budget, and then the other spouse wants to go up more, and then let me tell you something. I believe that this is a single-handed home purchase and a car too, but a home purchase. If it's not agreed upon, and when that mortgage starts to hit, a lot of marriages are destroyed.
Yeah, because then you
You know?
have at the back of your head, okay, I already have a job. I'll probably keep growing in it. And then God forbid they start
No.
making cuts and layoffs. And then you start recalculating that this person or this or my spouse was so selfish and not considering the what ifs. And
Yeah.
that was one of the main things that the home ownership course talked about, and also some
Mm-hmm.
dialogue that we talked about, Dr. Makita,
Yes.
was about the what ifs. Like, God forbid, do I know who to contact if I can't pay my mortgage this month, or
Yes.
do I know how I can, maneuver if
Yes.
different things?
Yeah, that's important because especially now in this climate when job security, that's a thing.
Yes.
You don't know if you're gonna have a job for funding for or layoffs, and we've seen a lot of that across the country.
Yeah.
From even Fortune 500 countries have been laying off.
Yeah.
And also, but like you said, you have to know who to contact. Now, there are different plans and criteria.
Mm-hmm.
You see, knowledge is power. If
Always.
you were laid off, you're in a mortgage, you were laid off, there are different programs that you could go in, right? There's different types of mortgages. There's so many things that you can maneuver around it and alert your mortgage company that you've been laid off. And, they can't just pull you out of your house. There's different programs. Hopefully, they still
Mm-hmm.
exist
That's a
to
hope.
keep you in there. And again,
Mm-hmm.
if you feel that things are looking shady, I think it's time to sell. If you're worried
Mm-hmm.
about job security, it's time to sell and get out of that trap. Because you could sell, and what money you get from the sale, you can live off it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
If you're very disciplined,
If you live within your means,
you can.
you can.
Maybe for a year or more even.
Yeah, it's possible,
It's, it's,
especially
it's, it's very it's very possible.
but you have to have a vision.
So I think that's why I say now. Honestly, homeownership is not for everyone. And nowadays it's getting to be not for a lot of people. And that's okay. As long as
Mm-hmm.
you have a roof over your head. And I think landlords, not everyone is, not all landlords are bad. You just have to really
Yeah.
pray for someone that's God fearing and understanding it. And hey, you're helping them too.
Yeah, and knowing your legal rights because
Yes.
there are some landlords that are abused
Yeah.
that abuse their power. And I just want to touch on one thing because that
Mhm.
segues us into our next question is you mentioned marriage and possible the home ownership process can cause relationships to be rocky. But what
Yeah.
about if you're what advice would you give someone who is a woman or a gentleman who
Mhm.
is solo, unmarried, but wanting to buy their first home for themselves, what advice would you give them? Because oftentimes a lot of individuals, or we have this, um, ideology that I want to be
Mhm.
married, buy a home, get kids, and then we can travel the world. But some individuals may want to buy a home first,
Mhm.
get themselves established, then possibly get married,
Mhm.
and then possibly do the whole 9 yards. But what advice
Mhm.
would you give individuals who do want to buy a home solo, but sadly enough, who's in their ear? Sadly enough, so many things that are happening in their environment that it's discouraging. What advice would you give to that person?
I would say, you have to know your stats. You have to
Mm-hmm.
know where you are in your pocket. You have to know where you are in your environment,
Mm-hmm.
where you are in your life. Again, you have to know what you want. And I was, I may have said years ago, go ahead, get your house, and then get married and all of that. But the way
Mm-hmm.
her life is now, I would say if you're renting or you live with whoever, I would say if you're a woman,
Mm-hmm.
I would say whoever you're marrying, either they can afford a house, they have good credit, they don't have a lot of debt. And I'll come to if they do after, but let's say they don't and they can't afford. I would say it's best to get a house together. Let me tell you why. Unless you have a very strong prenup, prenup has to be brought up for things that you, it's called prenuptials for a reason before you marry.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if you're gonna buy a house, if you have one already, you definitely need a prenup. Um, People change. People mask well.
Mm.
Even the ones that go to church. Sadly, in America, because of the system is like one big conduit. It's like and the whole social media, all these talks, people listen. Oh my goodness. If you're in the world, you're in the world. And wisdom is not gonna reach you. I would say if you want to pursue homeownership, you do it together. That way if something happens, you split 50-50. You go away with yours, I go away with mine, half.
Mm-hmm.
And you can start over in something. But if you go in, you have the house. If it's a man he puts you in the house, it's his house. So I know it sounds bad, but it's the truth. It's his house. If something happens,
Yeah.
and you have to know the type of person you are with, you're marrying. If he's a giving, right, he shows you. You see, you have to look for action.
Yes.
He's giving. You have to discern. He's giving. And what if he tells you, you know what? I know you met me with my house, but I'm gonna buy you one, and you can rent
Mm-hmm.
it out, and that's your income. That's a very good foundation and showing that listen, what's mine is yours. I want you to blast. If something happens to me,
I want you to have
I want
something.
you to have something,
Yeah.
right? Of course, you'll have this one because you're my wife, but you have something there, especially if he was married before,
Yes. And if he was
right?
married before, then
He
I
has
need a
to
new situation.
he has to buy a house for you, even
Mm-hmm.
if you don't live in it. You can share the one you're with, and if you have someone else in there, we need a whole
A whole new the spirit. Like I don't want oh, and then I don't
yeah.
want little Miss Sunshine. And let's say if they had kids or not, say, oh, I picked out this paint, and oh, you
Oh
haven't changed.
no.
Like there are There's
No,
some
we
women
need a
who are
whole
like that.
new,
A whole new house. I don't
yeah.
want any first steps or any first things
Or maybe
happening
he
in this
can
house.
rent out the one that he lived in before. But
Get rid of it. That's bad
we,
juju.
we need a new situation here.
Because I don't want the karma or
Yeah,
anything to ricochet divorce, and I don't want
yeah,
this to be
yeah.
divorced.
We need
No,
a new situation.
a new
Yeah,
situation.
a whole new everything. Or put one I rent, and we have one, and this one is mine.
Yes. And that's not, and
Because go ahead.
yes. Yeah. And not to cut you off, but I just have to say this for those in the comments, for those who may have the perspective of, oh, that's insecure, or though that's just
No.
wasting money. Homes is a spiritual, it's spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm not sure if y'all ever watched The Conjuring or know those stories of homes and spirits haunting it, because there are certain events that happen in home, and if you don't address
Yeah.
them, they fester and it creates a conjuring section.
Yeah.
It's not just movies, those things are real. So that's
Yeah.
why it's important to have a grown-up conversation about
I
these issues.
grown up.
Because if you don't and be like, "Oh, I'm not pressed,"
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
hindsight many years later, you're pressed like a whole panini.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can't be afraid to say how you feel. Remember, you
Mm-hmm.
have to ask for what you want.
Want closed mouths
Rem-
do not get fed.
Remember, you have to know what you want. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are afraid to say what they want. And then then this becomes this passive aggressive funnel, and then you go on social media, or you tell a family member, or you tell who these people can't help you.
And then the whole grapevine knows your business,
You need to
but
have
your
a sit
significant.
down,
A whole sit down
okay, with your pastor, with your lawyer, whoever. This is serious here.
business.
And what
Serious.
that does is gonna take all the burden, all the pressure off. Because
Mm-hmm.
you handled the business before.
Exactly.
And remember, you're building a foundation. And if you don't have a solid foundation, first on love and trust,
Mm-hmm.
you have nothing. Without trust, there's nothing.
There's literally nothing.
Yeah, so be fair. If you know you have, I want to say baggage, but it kind of is. We are on the Grounded Bag podcast, right? If you have baggage before, you need to address it honestly and fairly. If
Mm-hmm.
you have a wife before, you want to make sure they're good, right? And your children, but this new wife that you went for, you could have stayed with that one. But you came looking for me or whoever. We need to be good too, right from the start. Put it in
Right
writing.
from the start. In writing, and
Notarized,
there's nothing wrong with that.
notarized, and I want it. You have no, nope, nope, no, no, no.
Yeah,
You have to look,
yeah.
yeah, especially if you have children.
Yes,
Listen,
absolutely.
come on, listen. I didn't know this stuff before. These things you learn along the way, and it's sometimes a
Mm-hmm.
painful lesson. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
informed, and a person that loves you will be giving. They will hold nothing back from you.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're willing to, and that's why in Middle Eastern societies there's something called a dowry. Okay, there's a
Mm-hmm.
dowry, and you sometimes if it's money, if it's land, if it's whatever. But the bride's family and the bride, she gets some, you get something. That's a good that's like earnest. That's a good noble thing. It says a lot about
Yes.
character.
Yes. And many other cultures also have that,
Yeah,
like African as well as Thai
yeah,
and other cultures.
yeah.
But if you're like quote unquote like American or in the United
Mhm.
States, a
Mhm.
dowry is technically not a requirement, but there is something that you still present to a family.
Yeah.
Stability, like what can you can continue
What can you offer?
continuing on what was already instilled. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
something that is very
Yeah,
important.
and
And mhm,
these things don't have to be just for Belize societies.
no,
If you have these high values, you can instill it in your children as well to do.
yep,
I think it's right to do,
it's very right and it's very
and
important
it's
to do.
gonna save them a lot of pain and grief and suffering down the line if something were to happen adversely. Because we all
Exactly.
sin and come short of God's glory. So we
Yeah,
can't say that things are gonna be perfect. We don't live in a perfect world.
we don't.
You
We
know,
don't.
so we have to do be fair and earnest and just. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
and I would say that that should be the all of these tenets you go into this whole homeownership with. You know, being discerning, earnest, just, and above all, letting people know what you want. Get what you want or don't do it at all.
Don't do it at
Don't
all.
compromise. Because you're
Absolutely.
gonna have to pay that mortgage every month and not like the house you live in. No.
That's not it. That's just not the
No.
move right there. It's not. And lastly, there's so much guidebooks. Like there's home ownership for dummies, or there's
Hmm.
podcasts and idealistically social media and YouTube
Mm-hmm.
often shows individuals like renovating their homes or buying a home and it's all glamorous, but it's really
Mm-hmm.
not. What's something that's not in the real estate guidebooks that they have that people really need to know?
What we just said today about what to do, choosing a good really telling people what you want. That's
Exactly.
the people buy an emotion, remember.
Listen,
Emotion and need.
and need
The guidebooks are gonna tell you the laws,
the
the
laws.
who, the what, the how, but not the person that's not the emotion of the person.
Mm-hmm.
Not the decision that people should make in spite of the law or because
Mm-hmm.
of it, and also who are you coming in with? Are you going to be supportive? Who is supporting you on this journey? Oh, also estate planning, right? If something would happen to you even at your young age, who's gonna be left to upkeep the home? And also you should know the right people, because most people, especially when they don't put sweat and equity in something or desire something, they won't take care of it. And a home is an asset. The loan makes a liability as well, but it's still an asset, and it appreciates. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to know the beginning and the end. Begin with the end in mind.
The vision. It goes back to the vision. It
Yeah.
goes back to the vision. And as we conclude today's impactful and important discussion, because many
Yes. This was
individuals,
a lot.
it was a lot, but it was loaded with important discussions, because when you're buying a home, it's just you see the literal process, but it's also a spiritual transformation. You're also going on a journey. You need emotional support, mental support, spiritual support,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
financial support if that's something. So what benediction can you give us today that we can keep and hold on to when the going literally gets tough, when we feel as if this is not for me because of who I am, how I look, where I come from, what my last name is, what's in my pocket, what's in my bank. What's something that we can hold on to keep us going?
The first thing that comes to mind is actually a verse in the book of Proverbs that said, Proverbs chapter 3,
Mhm.
verses 5 to 6, that says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. So when you lead with that in anything, whether homeownership, marriage, whatever it is you want to do in life, career choice, school, whatever, God needs to give you his blessing. He needs to be in the process from beginning to end. Because whatever you do is for his glory. How you behave, how you think, how you react, what you spend. Nothing in this world is really ours, right? We have access to it, but everything is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So by trusting in the Lord, we entrusting everything into the Lord. Is this the right decision? Is this the right time, the right place, the right person I'm trusting to lead me on this journey? And if we do that, listen, there's another scripture that talks about It's actually a song. In Christ, the solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. So, if we entrust everything to Christ and through Him we can do all things, we will stand. We see a lot of people sink because they didn't entrust it to God. And that's idolatry. That's
Yeah.
against God. That's a sin. So this whole homeownership process and discussion is so many parts of it that can lead into other places. I think overall, we're humans, but nothing in this world belongs to us. Really, we're just passing through. Yep. And
Yeah.
and but having access to land and property, that's a blessing that God gave to Abraham's descendants, to his people.
Mm-hmm.
But we live in a world where the land has been corrupted,
Mm-hmm.
the systems are corrupted. But God tells us in Second Chronicles 7:14 that we should pray to the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he will heal the land. He says, if my people are called by my name, right? Would pray, he will heal this land. So we have to be careful even buying a house now and where. What
Yes.
what vicinity, what state, what county, who the leaders are, who's governing the whole real estate sector, and how easy it is to get through. And it's so many things involved now. You have to
So
yeah,
many.
you have to walk with your eyes wide open.
Yep. Especially how they respond when natural disasters happen.
Yes, exactly.
That is
Look
important.
at what very good, very, very, very good point, Aisha. Look at what's been happening recently, in recent time, how there
Mm-hmm.
is certain states are most susceptible to earthquakes,
Floods,
flooding. Are you in a flood zone area? Check.
fires.
You have to check, right? How hot it gets? Everywhere is affected, but some places more than others.
Yes.
And like we said, is it near a hospital? Is it near a fire station? If something is to happen, it's so many things. You can never be safe enough, but we can do our very best to be. And that you need
Mhm.
knowledge and wisdom, discernment, and trust in the Lord. I think we can end there.
And again, we say rejoice.
Amen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Makita, for blessing us with your words, but also your experience. And I will have all of Dr. Makita's links in the description box down below, down to her website, as well as her YouTube channel and your socials. I will have those
Yeah.
links listed so that way we all can follow your progress, your progression.
Yes. It's a perfect time because, like I said, I'm launching. So to get access now, I think is perfect.
Yes.
You're there and you're gonna see, you're gonna get all of me now because I'm free. I'm free from so many things. Past
Mm.
baggage, right? Is that what your podcast is about? Letting everything go.
Let it go.
So I am
Unpack the
I
bag.
am rooted and grounded in the Lord. So there's nothing better, there's no better life. So I want
Freedom.
to I want to share that with the world, my story, my testimony, and more discussions like this will be coming too.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for having me and trusting me. And you didn't have to, some children are afraid that their parents talk and what is she gonna say? But thank you for trusting me with your platform, and I'm so proud of you. And I pray that God will continue to bless and keep you, and continue to help you to grow in Him and be a voice and a beacon to many others, not just in your age group, but all ages. You've certainly been there for me and helped me and been a voice of the Lord. And we'll talk more about those things also. We'll let people in a little bit, just a little
Mhm.
bit, to share how good the Lord is and how we can use someone no matter their
Yes.
age.
Mhm.
So make sure you guys watch this entire video and share it. I'm sure you'll put up clips of it too
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube and on your socials, on Instagram, everywhere, and TikTok, wherever. And also, make sure you guys like this video and like it up and share it and subscribe to Rooted with Aisha and the Grounded Bag podcast.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Makita. And yes, the finish, root with that. Thank you. There is nothing else that I need to say.
After
And
that, there's nothing else to say.
yes, absolutely. And you're going to be seeing more discussions with Dr. Makita. And also in the future, as we continue to do more podcasts, we will also take you on a journey, like different phases of our lives and in different progressions. And I will
Yes,
also be lending my voice
yes,
to Dr. Makita's causes as well as her movement. So
yes,
more announcements and more developments will be shared
yes.
here
As the Lord ordains,
as the Lord
because not
ordains.
everything is for the public.
Not
Not
everything is for the
everything is
public.
for everyone. And I'll be talking more about that too.
Yes.
On integrity on social media and
Mm-hmm.
what to say, what not to say, and why and to whom. Because things have gone really rogue and just out of order. And God's a God of order and decency.
And decency.
Okay, so we'll share as we're called to share. Because there's tons of information out there anyway on things. And but we're going to share as we're called to share.
As we're called to share. Because trust me, there's a lot of uncut, amazing happenings that happens, but it's not for the public.
It's
But
not for the
it's
public.
not for the public. It's not. But thank you so
No.
much for joining,
Mm,
and thank you all for taking your time, however if it's your morning, evening, afternoon. Thank you so much, and I hope that this message is a blessing to you. And
yeah.
join us next Tuesday on another important conversation as we also tackle financial literacy because that's something that is important because especially in the schools,
Yes.
education is one thing, but knowing how to maneuver outside of those spaces is even
Yes.
important.
Yes. We
Yes,
see you
indeed.
guys. We're looking forward to seeing you guys. Make sure you turn on your notifications
Turn it
so
on.
you'll know when we drop that next episode. Stay with us.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.